Hey guys, this is Caleb with DSLR Video Shooter, and today we're talking about a really high quality, simple way to light and film small objects and products on a budget. So here's the deal. I shoot a lot of B-roll and footage of things I'm talking about. Tons of us YouTubers do this, and in the commercial field, this is something that we do quite a bit. So I wanted to put together a really simple, really high quality, but budget friendly way to do this. And this is what I've come up with, and I've used it a lot. It works really well. Several of my videos, you will have seen footage using this setup. So here's the deal. For the light setup, we're going to be using a cheap softbox that you can pick up for $18.50 on Amazon. Now I know you're thinking softboxes suck, but stick with me, okay? So this one's really cool because it actually folds up. Excuse all the sound, but it folds up and it can be stored very easily. And then I'll open it up here, and there's a ring in the middle that snaps into place like so, and now we have our softbox all set up. It also has one layer of diffusion that velcros onto the outside. You do have to plug it into the wall, and there's an inline switch. Now for the actual bulb, I'm not going to be using an incandescent bulb or a fluorescent bulb. I'm actually going to use an LED bulb. I've done a video on these. They're awesome if you want the benefits of LED, but want to stay with a budget setup and use a softbox. So the bulb I'm going to be using is this corn cob style LED bulb. It's around $20 and gives us 40 watts of output, which is more than enough for a setup like this, since we're going to have our light close to our subject. So I'm going to screw this into the actual softbox. The softbox is 24 by 24 inches. Now we're going to want something fairly large. They also have a 16 by 16 inch version. So if you're going to be filming very small, delicate things, that size would work just fine, but you'll see why we like the bigger size here in a second. So all I have to do now is take this thing, screw it into my fixture. What's cool about this light is it doesn't just shoot forward, it actually light emits from all sides of the actual bulb itself, which means light will be going straight out as well as bouncing around and creating even more soft light quality. So I'm going to put this diffuser on, which is pretty simple. It just goes around each corner, and then there is Velcro on this side of the softbox. This thing's kind of difficult to do in a small studio, so something like that. I'll turn it away from me here and flip the switch. Pretty doggone good output on this. So now that we have our light all ready to go, I'm going to show you how I set this up for filming. To mount this, I'm actually going to be using plastic bins on a tabletop. So you can use any table, any counter, or even the floor. And then to mount the light, we're going to do several different setups using these simple bins. You can find these little boxes or bins anywhere, and I usually look for ones around $1 a pop. And what I love about these is you can put the lids on and then stack them. So our first setup is going to be stacking bins on the left and right of whatever we're going to be filming. From there, we'll be actually putting the light on top of the bins on either side. I found it works best if you put one corner of the light on each bin, and that seemed to hold the light up just fine. And your goal here should be getting the light as close to the object as possible without it obviously showing up in the frame. The closer you bring a light source to an object, the softer the light source is going to be and the quality of the light on your object. So I really love that look of soft light. It works really well with small objects, so try to get it as close as possible. You can always remove or add more bins to adjust the height of your setup. With this done, you now have an awesome overhead soft light. It's just going to drop this beautiful soft light on whatever you put in front of it. And it works really, really well. I found with how bright that light is, I was able to adjust my aperture and get everything in focus or modify things slightly to get some nice shallow depth of field. So we have plenty of output to really make this work well. So that's the basic setup. You can then further modify things and tilt the light a little bit. So I experimented with having more bins on one side than the other, so I kind of had an angled light setup. You could also do a side lighting where you have bins just on one side and use that to hold up the base of the light. That way you have a beautiful side light on your object. To help with the shadows on the other side of your object, you can just use some white foam board or a piece of paper or something to add a little bit of fill, and bam, you have epically beautiful light for your object. I also experimented with backlighting, so putting the light behind the object to create a silhouette, or just backlight it, and really from here you can do anything. You can prop the light up for a diagonal kind of setup. There's so many different ways you can use this, and all of this stuff costs under 40 bucks. From there, you can really do anything with this light. It's pretty amazing. And as I've talked about in a previous setup, that softbox and that bulb combination make for a great key light. So you have a very versatile setup that you can do so much with for YouTube or really anything. And my favorite thing about this whole setup is not just the quality, but the cost for it all. Under $50 for the light, the bulb, and the bins, and you're off to the races. Add a light stand and you're now set up for stuff like this. So that is gonna do it for this video. You can find links to the stuff I talked about and used in this video in the description. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Otherwise, I have fresh videos here at DSLR Video Shooter coming out every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.